Okay, so right now I'm just recording just for the heck of it. Um, so let's see. Was it? I think this was the ninth when I planned all these. Today is 420. So it's been about what 11 days since I planted these. So what I'm gonna have to end up doing, especially with the mammoth sun. Wow, look at that. Yeah, I gotta transplant these ASAP. So I'm going to fill up. Uh, Oops, yeah, I'm gonna fill up the one of the baskets I have in the front. Just put like a little garbage bag in it, and then I'm going to transplant them. I should really just have a whole set container that's designated for sunflowers because I have so many growing right now. These I kind of failed in terms of transplanting these. It's been I don't know if he says the 20. No, I planted these well over a month ago. So if I were to plant, these are pretty much pot bound right now, as you can see. But if I were to plant these, they wouldn't grow as large as these over here. A lot of these are mammoth sunflowers, red sun, and I think an autumn color. Let me see something. Oh, oh yeah. So that's what I just wanted to point out. So there's things that I am learning as I grow in containers. This basically is just, well, of course I want food. That's a no-brainer, but it's also an experiment. So I'm just trying out different methods to see what works, what doesn't work. And so far I've learned, at least just personally, I've learned that, yeah, you can grow sunflowers in small containers. They usually sell them. You can grow them just in a small pot as seedlings, but you really have to transplant them as soon as possible if you want to get the full length. Because once they become pot bound, I think that's just the end of it, really. Because, like I said before, this is a perfect example of just leaving things in containers too long. As you can see, the leaves are yellow, more yellow compared to this one, and it's much smaller. You can tell there's an extensive amount of growth going on here. Um, yeah, so this is a smaller bed. That's no doubt. And I know they recommend that you give each plant some spacing, but I did not apparently, and so you can see there are a lot of sunflowers here. So the big leafy ones are mammoth, and you can see how strong the structure is already. And these are pretty thick. This one is getting pretty tall, and this is the one that definitely gets the most optimal amount of sunlight. And it's because I know over here the bin is blocking a tad bit of sunlight. So, but it is growing taller as you can see. And yeah, so once again, I know people have made these mistakes before, but I'm just really wanting to check out what works, at least specifically what limits can be pushed, because this is right now a Four Sisters garden that I'm trying in a very compact space. So I have 6 corns, spaced out almost 8 inches apart, except for this last one. I have 4 beans. I think those are the bush beans, the Blue Lake 174 or 274. So I just decided to plant these in between. I was thinking of putting the corn, but then I realized it's probably a little bit better since I've planted so many sunflowers in this bed that I just decided to give the corn more spacing so they at least have room to grow. Usually people, or it's recommended to plant the beans next to the corn if you have climbing beans or pole beans so they can use the support of the corn to grow extensively. But apparently that's not what I'm doing right now. I am simply just using I guess this would just give it more ground. I think at the moment it's still receiving some sunlight, not as much, and it's because how tall these are, but I think once they grow, there'll be a little bit more sunlight for for the beans to receive. Yeah. So I think with corn, they also recommend you plant that less than 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks after germination, so the corn doesn't become pot bound or container bound. Because last year that sort of happened to me. I left the corn in for at least 3 or 4 weeks in one of these containers, and it was smaller. So I want to show a demonstration, or I want to come over here and point out at least the little Four Sisters garden I have in progress. Or is this even no? This one I just have beans and corn. I don't have any squash. It's just like a little $3 container. Not little. But I transplanted them. You can see how extensive the leaves are on the corn. And this one, this is also an experimentation. I'm not sure how well the corn will grow, and it's because I did wait longer to actually plant those. So I may or may not get some corn from those two plants in there. In there I have pumpkin, so I have two pumpkin crops. What else? I got three American giant hybrid. So there's no doubt I may have to thin one or two of the American giant hybrids, but I spaced out the squash. So in a way, this is like a 2.5 sisters bed container that I have, because I have the corn, I have the sunflowers, and I have the pumpkin. So yeah, pumpkin is the sugar pie, I believe, either sugar pie or something sugar. So I'm hoping, I have the tomato tomato stand, just to make sure that it gets some sort of support. And this one, I would say, is at least 4 feet tall or 4.5 feet tall. It's very tall. So I'm hoping that'll be enough. If not, I'll figure something out. But this it's pretty sturdy. Let me see. I have a lot of stuff here, but let me demonstrate the sturdiness. It goes all the way to the bottom, and it was $5. So I would say for a trellis, that's a pretty good price. Because what I do see with a lot of people is that they do the wooden stakes. They kind of do it triangular like a teepee, which I may end up doing, but for now I think it's just easier to come across the trellis, the tomato vine trellis or tomato stand. And yeah. So I mean, it works for now. If not, I will find another method. I have this. See, I haven't put enough support in this one, so it's yeah, it's a little slanted, but in this one I have, oh gosh, I forgot what I had in that one. Something I have in that one. Holy moly, I forgot. That is so funny. I totally forgot. That one is pumpkin. I forget what I planted in this one. Oh, watermelon. I need to label these. So watermelons in a 7-gallon. The pumpkins are in a 10-gallon, and I'm still debating. I think I may put the other two types of pumpkin I have in this one, the 7-gallon. I also have some other ones. If I have a lot of honey nut squash right now, so I'm gonna take out some of those tender plants and then grow them in a separate container. Last year, I realized a mistake that I did was take the I planted the zucchini, the squash, the cucumbers. I planted everything within close proximity, so I wasn't able to get as much foliage as I wanted. And plus, when it comes up to lining, I wasn't able to give the cucumbers support in time. And yeah, so once again, I know I'm making some. Maybe I may be making a mistake this year, but I'm just still trying to see what works, because at least with doing this container garden is that first off, it's much easier to maintain. I don't have to worry about not worry about as much with cats coming in, but we coming in and doing littering and stuff, but they still do it. And unfortunately, there's still other animals. I think we have possums. I don't know how often the possums come, but I have seen a possum. A couple of like last summer. So that's something I am concerned about. So I may also have to cover these up during the nighttime, not extra sticks, so the possums or any other pest that comes and munching our food doesn't come here and do it. Yeah, I'm afraid of American possums. They're terrifying. But yeah. So I have the cucumber I'm gonna plant it in there, and then the squash. I have the zucchini squash. I don't know if it's because I didn't plant this one in time, but the leaves have been yellowing. I think, I'm gonna have to add nitrogen to this one, perhaps. But I did add some peat moss, not a lot, but just enough, because I know they like slightly acidic soil. Yeah, this one is doing okay. Yeah, this one is the Dragon Snapbean Langery. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but 4 of them successfully yes, 4 of them successfully germinated. So just that's cool. So I'm expecting to get a good amount of harvest from this. Maybe not the best because I didn't give them enough space at least between the corn, but I think hopefully it will be enough. Oh, yeah, and here are the beans. The beans have been successfully germinated. I have the Kentucky Wonder, I think, and also the contender beans, which is very, very, very has a high positive reputation. So I'm gonna come over on the other side, point out the beans that have successfully germinated. These sunflowers I have to plant ASAP to make sure they get the optimal growth and not become too pot bound. Because as you can see, with the one I showed before, there's already some extensive length that's going on. Here is the sugar pie. So that, I forget, oh, that one must be the small sugar. Oh wow, I got more. Yeah. Luckily, I have 3 more containers. I'm not quite sure what to do with. Yep. Wait for it. Yep. So just about all of these had successful amounts of germination. And that's the small sugar. This one is the sugar pie. And I'm pretty sure they're very similar to each other. So that's one, and then I planted 2 more in this one. So I'm expecting them to pop up any day now, or any hour. They'll show. It will grow. But check this out. 6 out of 6. Six out of 6. And I guess I really overwatered these, so I think that's why the germination was quicker than expected. Yeah, I gotta water these plants actually. So I gotta wrap things up really soon. But if I didn't come here already, I wanna talk about these. And so I planted these approximately about 2 weeks ago, on the 5th of April and the 7th of April, these last 2 ones. So a lot of these are sunflowers, so I have to plant them before they become too container bound. Yeah, so one more thing. Here's the corn. The corn has been growing very well. So this is the example of just planting them early so they get enough time to grow well. I'm sure this is not a dwarf type, but you can see how sturdy and thick these are. So perhaps within, I think, oh gosh, I have aphids, no. And see, that's a pest that I'm dealing with. I gotta get my little method spray and spray it all over. But the corn, is very thick. So I know that that's a good sign. At least the ones over here. I don't know what's going on with the ones over here. I maybe have to thin some out. Yeah, they don't get as much sunlight as the ones over there, so I don't know how these are gonna turn out. But I'm hoping to at least get some corn from this. Anyways, though, that's all I got for the, let's say, the Four Sisters update. Just scattered around the garden. I'm gonna mulch these. Maybe even add some beans before I mulch it. But yeah, provided fertilization to the soil, rejuvenated it, and planted out the corn. There's worms in these, by the way, so that's a good sign. Anyways, yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all very soon. Peace.